Are you tired of fighting that stubborn menopause belly fat that seems impossible to lose? Have you tried diet after diet only to watch the scale refuse to budge? Do you feel like your body is suddenly working against you, storing fat in places it never did before? What if I told you that the traditional weight loss advice you've been following might actually be making your situation worse? The menopausal transition brings profound changes to a woman's body that conventional weight loss wisdom simply doesn't address. As estrogen levels decline, your body's fat distribution shifts dramatically, with fat cells preferentially relocating to your midsection. This isn't just about appearance. This visceral fat wraps around your internal organs, releasing inflammatory compounds and increasing your risk for heart disease, diabetes, and even certain cancers. Studies show that women can gain an average of 1.5 pounds annually during perimenopause, with most of that weight accumulating around the abdomen. What makes menopause belly fat so stubborn is its unique relationship with your changing hormones. Lower estrogen triggers insulin resistance, making your body more likely to store fat rather than burn it. Meanwhile, stress hormones like cortisol rise, further encouraging fat deposition around your abdomen. The traditional eat less, move more approach simply doesn't address these hormonal shifts. Today, we're exploring 11 science-backed steps specifically designed to address the hormonal root causes of menopausal belly fat. These strategies work with your changing body rather than against it, helping you reclaim your metabolism. 11. Prioritize protein at every meal. This might seem simple, but it's the foundation of hormonal balance during menopause. Research shows that adequate protein directly resets cortisol patterns that become disrupted after 40. When you consume at least 30 grams of protein at breakfast, you stabilize blood sugar and reduce cravings throughout the entire day. A landmark study found that women who started their day with a high-protein breakfast experienced 61% greater reduction in hunger-stimulating hormones compared to those eating a carbohydrate-focused breakfast with the same calories. Protein also provides the essential amino acids needed to produce neurotransmitters that regulate mood and sleep, two areas that become notoriously unstable during perimenopause. Most importantly, protein preserves precious muscle mass that naturally declines as estrogen drops, preventing the metabolic slowdown that drives weight gain. After 40, you lose approximately 1% of muscle mass yearly unless you actively prevent it. Studies found that women who increased their protein intake to 30% of daily calories lost significantly more body fat than those following traditional low-fat diets, even when consuming the same number of calories. Aim for 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, focusing on quality sources like eggs, fish, lean meats, and plant proteins. 10. Start with the right supplements. The nutritional demands of your body change dramatically during menopause, yet most women continue the same supplement routine they've followed for years, if they supplement at all. This oversight creates critical nutrient gaps that directly sabotage your metabolism and hormonal balance. Vitamin D3 should be your foundation, as research shows that over 80% of women in perimenopause are deficient, and this deficiency directly correlates with increased abdominal fat. A groundbreaking study found that women with adequate vitamin D levels lost significantly more weight, and specifically more belly fat, than those with lower levels, even when following identical diet plans. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a vitamin, influencing over 200 genes related to metabolism and fat storage. It helps regulate insulin secretion and improves your cell's sensitivity to insulin, directly counteracting the insulin resistance that develops during menopause. Most women need 2,000 to 5,000 IU daily for optimal metabolic function. But there's a crucial detail most people miss. Vitamin D3 should always be paired with vitamin K2. While D3 helps you absorb calcium, K2 directs that calcium into your bones and away from your arteries, reducing the risk of arterial calcification and maximizing bone health, which is especially important after 40. This duo works synergistically to support hormonal balance, metabolic health, and cardiovascular protection. Next, add magnesium. Nature's relaxant that helps regulate cortisol, supports restful sleep, and improves insulin sensitivity. Studies show that just 8 weeks of magnesium supplementation can significantly reduce waist circumference in women over 40. Most women are chronically low in this mineral without realizing it. Finally, omega-3s, zinc, and methylated B vitamins complete your essential toolkit, addressing inflammation, thyroid function, and energy production respectively. Start slow. Add 1 supplement weekly, beginning with D3 plus K2, to observe how each one supports your unique body. 9. Do resistance training regularly. The exercise approach that worked in your 30s becomes counterproductive after 40. Hours of cardio, once your go-to for weight management, can actually increase cortisol levels and worsen insulin resistance when hormones are fluctuating. Research found that resistance training specifically targets the hormonal imbalances driving menopausal weight gain. When you engage in strength training, you trigger the release of growth hormone and testosterone, both of which decline during menopause and are crucial for maintaining metabolic rate. Even more impressive, resistance training improves insulin sensitivity by up to 24% in postmenopausal women, directly counteracting the insulin resistance that develops as estrogen declines. This means your body becomes more efficient at using glucose for energy rather than storing it as fat around your midsection. Studies show that women who incorporate just 2 weekly strength training sessions lose 40% more fat than those doing cardio alone, with most of that additional fat loss coming from the abdominal area. The key is consistency over intensity. Just 2 30-minute sessions weekly creates the hormonal environment needed to preserve muscle and mobilize stubborn fat stores that traditional cardio simply cannot touch. Focus on compound movements that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously: squats, rows, chest presses, deadlifts, as these trigger the most powerful hormonal response. 8. Reduce cortisol. That persistent stress you're feeling isn't just in your head, it's literally reshaping your body. Research found that women with higher cortisol levels had significantly more abdominal fat, regardless of their total body weight. During menopause, your body becomes more sensitive to stress as estrogen's protective effect diminishes. Estrogen normally helps buffer the impact of cortisol, but as levels decline, even minor stressors can trigger significant cortisol spikes that direct fat storage specifically to your midsection. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires consistency and treating stress reduction with the same seriousness as diet and exercise. Daily stress reduction rituals like a 20-minute nature walk reduce cortisol by up to 40% for several hours. Research found that walking in natural settings had a significantly greater impact on reducing stress hormones than walking in urban environments for the same duration. Supplementing with adaptogens like ashwagandha has been shown to lower cortisol by 23% in just 60 days. However, ashwagandha is not recommended for individuals with thyroid conditions, as it may interfere with thyroid hormone levels and function. Always consult your doctor if you have thyroid concerns before taking any adaptogens. 7. Fix your sleep. That disrupted sleep you're experiencing isn't just an annoying symptom of menopause. It's actively contributing to your belly fat. Research found that women who sleep less than 7 hours nightly have a 33% higher risk of weight gain and larger waist circumference. Poor sleep triggers a cascade of hormonal disruptions. Cortisol rises, hunger hormones increase, and insulin sensitivity plummets. The hunger hormone ghrelin increases by up to 15% after just 1 night of poor sleep, while leptin, the satiety hormone, decreases by 15%, creating the perfect storm for overeating. Just 1 night of poor sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by 25%, comparable to 6 months of poor diet. This means your body becomes less efficient at processing carbohydrates, more likely to store them as fat, and more prone to energy crashes that drive sugar cravings. For menopausal women already dealing with declining insulin sensitivity, Sleep disruption essentially pours gasoline on the metabolic fire. The solution requires treating sleep as non-negotiable medicine. Create a consistent sleep schedule that allows for 7 to 9 hours nightly, even on weekends. Develop a wind-down routine that signals your brain it's time to transition. 6. Eat enough. Don't starve. The severe calorie restriction that might have worked temporarily in your younger years becomes metabolically devastating after 40. Research found that women who drastically cut calories experienced a significant drop in resting metabolic rate that persisted even after they resumed normal eating. This metabolic adaptation becomes more pronounced during menopause when your body is already dealing with the metabolic impact of declining estrogen. Studies show that women who restrict below 1,200 calories daily can experience up to a 20% reduction in metabolic rate, far more than can be explained by weight loss alone. During menopause, your body interprets severe calorie restriction as a threat, triggering increased production of the stress hormone cortisol, which drives fat storage around your midsection. Undereating also disrupts thyroid function, further slowing metabolism. Research found that even short periods of caloric restriction decreased conversion of T4 to the more active T3 thyroid hormone, with effects lasting well beyond the restriction period. The solution isn't eating more of everything, but rather focusing on nutrient-dense foods that support hormonal health. Ensure you're consuming at least 1,500 calories daily, with emphasis on protein, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbohydrates. This approach maintains metabolic rate while providing the nutritional building blocks your body needs to produce balanced hormones that facilitate fat loss rather than storage. 5. Add smart carbs. The popular low-carb and keto approaches that work well for some younger women often backfire during menopause. Research found that completely eliminating carbohydrates increases cortisol production and can worsen sleep quality, two factors already challenging during the menopausal transition. Your brain requires glucose to produce serotonin, which becomes even more important as estrogen levels decline. Estrogen and serotonin have a complex relationship, with estrogen enhancing serotonin's effects in the brain. The key is choosing the right carbohydrates at the right times. Focus on fiber-rich options like beans, lentils, and colorful vegetables that stabilize blood sugar rather than spike it. These complex carbohydrates release glucose slowly into your bloodstream, preventing the insulin spikes that drive fat storage. The fiber they contain also feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which research increasingly links to weight management and metabolic health. Including modest portions of these smart carbs, especially at dinner, can improve sleep quality by boosting serotonin production. Studies show that women who include moderate amounts of complex carbohydrates actually lose more abdominal fat than those following very low-carb approaches, likely due to the improved hormonal environment and reduced cortisol levels. Aim for 100 to 150 grams of carbohydrates daily, focusing on quality sources distributed throughout the day. 4. Balance blood sugar. The blood sugar roller coaster becomes particularly problematic during menopause, as insulin sensitivity naturally declines. Research found that postmenopausal women experience greater blood glucose fluctuations than premenopausal women, even when consuming identical meals. These glucose spikes and crashes trigger cravings, energy dips, and fat storage specifically around your midsection. Each time your blood sugar spikes and then crashes, your body releases stress hormones to raise blood glucose back to normal levels. The solution lies in strategic meal composition and timing. Always eat protein and fiber before consuming any carbohydrates in a meal. This simple sequencing trick can reduce glucose spikes by up to 73%. A study found that simply changing the order in which foods are eaten, consuming protein and vegetables before starches, significantly improved post-meal glucose and insulin levels. Incorporate natural blood sugar stabilizers, like cinnamon, which improves insulin sensitivity by up to 20%. Just half a teaspoon daily can make a measurable difference in how your body processes carbohydrates. Apple cider vinegar before meals has also been shown to reduce post-meal glucose spikes by 30%. Avoid skipping meals, which creates larger glucose swings when you do eat. Instead, focus on consistent meal timing with balanced macronutrients at each eating occasion. 3. Support your thyroid. Your thyroid gland naturally slows down after 40, with research showing that subclinical hypothyroidism affects up to 20% of women over 60. Even mild thyroid dysfunction can reduce your metabolic rate by 200 to 400 calories daily, enough to cause significant weight gain over time. The thyroid-menopause connection is bidirectional. Declining estrogen affects thyroid function, and thyroid issues can worsen menopausal symptoms. Many women experience thyroid changes during perimenopause that go undiagnosed because symptoms overlap with typical menopause complaints. Supporting optimal thyroid function becomes crucial during menopause, when this metabolic regulator faces additional challenges. Ensure adequate intake of thyroid-supportive nutrients like zinc, selenium, and iodine. Selenium, in particular, has been shown to improve thyroid function in women with mild deficiencies. Just 2 Brazil nuts daily provide the selenium your thyroid needs to produce and activate thyroid hormones. More often overlooked tip: avoid spraying perfume directly on your neck. The thin skin around the thyroid area can absorb synthetic fragrance compounds, some of which have been shown to disrupt endocrine function. Instead, spray perfume on your clothes or on less sensitive pulse points, like the wrists. It's a small habit shift that could support your overall hormonal health. 2. Watch your alcohol intake. That evening glass of wine might seem like the perfect way to unwind, but research shows it's particularly problematic during menopause. Alcohol disrupts estrogen metabolism, creating further imbalance in an already fluctuating hormonal environment. Studies found that alcohol consumption increases estrogen levels while decreasing progesterone, creating relative estrogen dominance that can worsen many menopausal symptoms. This hormonal shift promotes fat storage specifically in the abdominal area and breasts. Beyond hormonal effects, alcohol significantly impacts sleep architecture, reducing restorative deep sleep by up to 24%, even when consumed hours before bedtime. While you might fall asleep more easily after a drink, the quality of that sleep is substantially compromised, further disrupting the delicate hormonal balance you're trying to restore. Perhaps most relevant to belly fat, alcohol temporarily shuts down fat burning as your liver prioritizes metabolizing the alcohol, essentially pressing pause on your metabolism for several hours. Studies show that women who consume more than 7 drinks weekly have significantly larger waist circumferences than those who drink less, independent of total calorie intake. Limiting alcohol to 1 to 2 drinks weekly allows your liver to focus on its critical role in hormone detoxification and metabolism, rather than processing alcohol. 1. Track progress differently. The most powerful shift you can make might surprise you. It's changing how you measure success. Research found that women who relied solely on the scale for feedback were more likely to abandon their health efforts than those using multiple progress markers. During menopause, hormonal fluctuations cause significant water retention that can mask fat loss for weeks at a time. You might be doing everything right, but the scale refuses to acknowledge your efforts, leading to frustration and eventually giving up. The scale becomes particularly unreliable as your body composition changes. You might be losing fat and gaining muscle, while the number stays frustratingly stable. A pound of muscle takes up significantly less space than a pound of fat, meaning your body can be changing shape and becoming healthier without the scale reflecting these improvements. Research found that women who focused on body composition changes rather than weight were significantly more likely to maintain healthy habits long term. Instead, track waist circumference, which directly correlates with metabolically active visceral fat. Monitor energy levels, mood stability, and sleep quality, which improve rapidly when your hormonal environment shifts positively. These subjective measures often change weeks before the scale catches up, providing the positive reinforcement needed to maintain healthy habits. Notice how your clothes fit rather than focusing on a specific size. These alternative measurements provide more accurate feedback about your metabolic health and hormonal balance. If you've made it this far, congratulations. These 11 steps aren't quick fixes. They're powerful tools designed to address the root hormonal causes of menopausal belly fat. They work together synergistically, creating a comprehensive approach that honors the unique challenges of this life stage. The conventional weight loss wisdom that served you in earlier decades simply doesn't address the hormonal reality you're facing now. Start small. Choose just one step to implement this week. Listen to your body's response. Let the change grow from there. Remember that consistency trumps perfection every time. Small, sustainable changes create lasting results, while dramatic overhauls typically lead to burnout and regression. Your body is going through a major transition. Approach it with patience and compassion rather than frustration and force.